There comes a stage in life when the balance between parent and child starts to shift. After years of guiding, nurturing, and putting your children first, there may come a day when you realize something's changed. Maybe they ignore your suggestions. Maybe they brush off your thoughts. Or worse, perhaps they make you feel like you no longer matter. And that hurts. If your children have started treating you with less care, less dignity than you deserve, it's natural to feel hurt, frustrated, even angry. You might feel tempted to remind them of everything you've done, every sacrifice you made. But here's something to remember. Reacting with anger usually pushes them further away. Instead, there are calmer, more powerful approaches that can help restore the respect you once had without yelling, arguing, or resentment. Today, I want to share 6 effective shifts in how you carry yourself when your children stop treating you with the respect you deserve. These approaches can reshape how they see you. Stay with me until the end, because the last one can change everything. Step 1. Stop seeking their approval. As parents get older, many fall into the trap of constantly trying to please their children. You might say yes when you want to say no, rearrange your plans to fit theirs, or silence your opinions to avoid conflict, all in hopes of staying close. But the more you try to win their approval, the more likely it is they'll lose respect for you. Respect isn't won through constant giving. It's built by valuing yourself. I knew a woman named Margaret. She used to be fiercely independent. But as she aged, she began letting her children call all the shots. She stayed quiet when they were rude and put her needs aside to keep the peace. The result? They started taking her for granted. Respect begins with self-respect. Speak up. Set boundaries. Say no when you need to. When you start valuing your voice, they will too. Step 2. Lead, don't argue. When your children talk down to you, it's easy to snap back and demand they treat you better. But arguing rarely changes their behavior. In fact, it usually makes things worse. Real respect isn't forced, it's modeled. People, including your children, notice how you carry yourself. Do you stay composed under pressure? Do you speak with quiet strength? I recall Frank, a retired teacher. At home, his kids ignored him. He tried fighting back at first, but that only made things more tense. Eventually, Frank chose a different path. He listened more, spoke less, and led by calm example. Over time, they began to see him differently, not as someone begging for their respect, but someone who already had it. Step 3. Release emotional dependency. As much as we love our children, relying on them to fill our emotional needs is a path to disappointment. When they sense that your happiness depends on their attention, they may pull away, not because they don't care, but because the pressure is too much. People, even family, are drawn to those who are emotionally independent. I knew a mother named Helen who used to call her children constantly, hoping to feel connected. But the more she called, the less they responded. Eventually, she focused on herself, new hobbies, new friends, a renewed life. The surprising result? Her kids started reaching out more often. When you're emotionally self-sufficient, your presence becomes something they want, not something they feel guilty about. Step 4. Create and defend boundaries. One of the most common reasons respect fades is because limits aren't set. If you allow someone to speak to you poorly, to disregard your time or feelings, they'll continue, often without realizing it. Boundaries don't mean conflict. They mean clarity. Robert, a retired businessman, once let his children walk all over him, interrupting, dismissing, criticizing. One day he calmly said, "You're welcome to disagree, but I expect respect when you do." When they crossed the line, he didn't argue. He simply ended the conversation. Respect grew not because he demanded it, but because he required it through his actions. Step 5. Don't give without recognition. If you constantly give your time, your help, your resources, and are met with indifference or entitlement, it doesn't build closeness. It builds expectation. George, a generous father, gave and gave. But when he needed his children, they weren't there. So he pulled back, no longer offering help unless it was appreciated. At first, his children were shocked. But in time, they began to value him again. Not because they got what they wanted, but because they realized his love wasn't endless or automatic. Teach your children that your generosity is a choice, not an obligation. When it's met with gratitude, continue. When it's not, take a step back. Step 6. Live fully beyond them. The most powerful shift of all? Build a life that doesn't revolve around your children. When they see you as someone who depends on them for joy, they may feel overwhelmed, or worse, they may lose interest. But when they see you enjoying life, pursuing passions, making friends, staying engaged, they start seeing you not as someone clinging to the past, but as someone thriving in the present. Eleanor, a widow, tried to fill her loneliness with constant involvement in her children's lives. But it backfired. When she stepped back and found fulfillment in her own activities, her children started reaching out more. Not because they had to, but because they wanted to. Let them witness your independence. Show them that your life is full, with or without their attention. Final thoughts. Respect isn't something you can demand. It's something you reflect through the way you carry yourself. Stop needing approval, because the less you seek it, the more it comes. Led by example, because your dignity is more powerful than your words. Be emotionally strong, because self-reliance invites admiration. Set boundaries, because people treat you how you allow them to. Give wisely, because generosity without recognition loses meaning. And live fully, because a rich, independent life earns respect naturally. If you found value in these insights, share in the comments one thing you'll try in your own life. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't miss future content like this. Your support helps us create thoughtful videos that uplift and inform. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again soon.